now. That's bleached.
Oh, there you go, Trey. Now I can see you.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Looks good. Looking good.
I didn't know I could adjust the volume on the video. All right, Trey, you bring some development info for us?
Sure.
I just to help you out, I pulled up the San Antonio Business Journal. What up?
Got it. I already have it up.
Any suggestions?
Already have it up.
Sweet. Hang tight, AP. We'll get that answered.
Can you text me the link to the San Antonio Business Journal?
Yeah. In the private chat too.
Cool.
It's a long intro today, guys. Sorry.
You're good.
Who did you remove? Yeah.
I don't see it on the
Thank you.
on the link.
I'll go to private on the side, private chat.
No, I see the link, but I don't see where it says about real estate.
Oh, I just gave you the link for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, it's a good one. Ooh, good thing we got Trey on for this one. Raw Lander.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get this out of here. Remove. You are gone. Welcome to the Real Migos podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call this. 7:00 Tuesday nights, fun time. We got the mullet with ears. We got the benevolent beret, and then Mr. Trey. Welcome.
What's up?
We will give Trey a proper intro here in a second, but I want to hear from these fine gentlemen. How's your week?
Bro, it's been busy. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of crazy stuff going on for me, at least personally. You know, that's my temperature. A lot of cool stuff picking up. Refreshed one of my listings and got new pictures done today. So excited, man. Good week.
Is that one's still active? Because I saw it on the MLS today.
We got new pictures.
Photos
today.
changed today?
The pictures were taken today. They'll change tomorrow. White paint, Calcutta marble countertops, and new backsplash. It looks really nice.
Love it.
Yeah.
Mr. Ian, what's up, man?
Man, I've got some new constructions going, resale. Got a commercial going, development discussion that's happening over in Leander, a luxury purchase, and that was just today.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, holy crap, what is happening? I don't know what's going on, but today has been a day of all days.
It's good, bud.
Yeah, busy over here as well. I just showed $1 million Airbnb in Wimberley. It was really sick. So
Very cool.
hopefully we can put that together. Tons of good stuff. I met with an agent today, huge agent. We talked some business stuff that we might do. So really cool stuff. But all right, here we go. Real Amigos, we're going to talk about investments today or where to buy. Really, I mean, if you are buying a home for yourself, you got to think of it still as an investment. So we're going to talk about that, but we're not going to talk about the regular places. We're not going to talk about the Pflugervilles. If you saw my video that launched today, which came out very well, it was the top 5 places that people are moving to. No, I'm not going to give you what the list is. You got to watch the video. We're not talking about that stuff. We are going to be focusing on San Antonio, the I-35 corridor, and we're going to be talking about, everything where development and growth is going. So looking at that growth, and I couldn't think of a better guest than Trey Serrano, my man. Yeah, I'm excited, dude. So we've had guests on, and I'll let you, say who you are, what you do, but we've had guests on and we've talked, it doesn't say, oh, here we go. Sorry. This is what happens when I'm talking and reading comments at the same time. So we've had guests. We've done the whole San Antonio versus Austin and all that jazz. What I really wanted to do tonight was talk about all the developments and things that are going on, because for me, Trey and I talked about this the other day. In fact, like Trey's like, what should I buy in Austin? And I'm like, I don't know. What should I be buying in San Antonio? So, and if you look at that I-35 corridor between San Antonio and Austin, they've actually said at one point, San Antonio and Austin will merge because of the I-35 corridor. So Trey lives on the I-35 corridor.
Yes.
He does business all up and down the I-35. He does business in San Antonio. Trey, introduce yourself. We want to hear from you. Who are you? What do you do? And what makes you special?
Awesome. Appreciate you guys having me on. Jeremy, Ian, Kevin, I appreciate it. So a little about myself. I was a police officer for almost 10 years, and I did real estate and a cop on the street, but I decided I had to leave one because both of them were getting tiresome. So from a street cop now to I just got the Platinum Top 50 Realtors in San Antonio.
Yeah,
you know what that means? That means my wife can't tell me to do the dishes. She can't tell me to do laundry. She can't tell me anything. No, I'm just kidding.
and you hit elite at Real Broker.
I did. I hit elite. I got a team of 6, America, God-loving people. So, so we have a pretty solid team here in San Antonio. Anyway, all that to say that I'm very, very involved in the market in all aspects. I watch a little bit of commercial real estate. I see developments. I try to get the inside by talking to the developers themselves. And once I get this information, I pass it along to clients and I pass it on my social media stuff. So I really want people to get the inside information, because if they get it from me, then that's some value I can give them. So really excited to be here.
Awesome. All right. So real quick, before we get too far into this, we've got a couple good questions. Ian, do you want to answer this one real quick? Any suggestions?
Yeah, sure. I shared a map just to kind of give, this is a super quick overview. These are all on market properties ready to roll. And I know the question is, where should you buy? But I think Kevin has said this. I'm sure Jeremy's echoed this 1,000 times. I think I've said it. All of these can be really hot. It really just depends on your budget. So these are all duplexes all the way up to quadplexes that are live on the market, ready to roll. So really it's just what's your flavor, right? So you've got one here that's 500,000 in a pretty good growth area. If you want to be along 290 heading to Houston, I don't know who wants to be over toward there. You've got downtown or just north of downtown, 900,000. So you have a lot of options. If you want to go further, because I think you said suburbs, look, you can go Cedar Park, Brown Rock, 479.
I'd tell you, if you're going to find a scroll back in a little bit right there in the middle. Yeah. So that Wells Branch area,
yes,
that whole area that you have kind of right there, that line, fantastic spot because the location to Apple, all that good stuff. And you scroll back down, I'd say South Austin. That's me personally, but
let me add real 2 cents to that real quick.
No.
What I noticed,
you get 1 cent.
Shut up, let me talk. I don't even know what I was going to say anymore. I'm leaving.
Trey, what's a good spot in San Antonio to buy a duplex? Because you've actually shown me some good investment properties in the past.
Yeah. So the really insider information in San Antonio, you guys should write this down. So in San Antonio, the historical districts in South San Antonio, they call it Southtown, and it's Alexa, order me the kitty headphones. Okay, here we go. It's on the way. So the historical districts in San Antonio haven't caught up because the city is so backed up with
Alexa, cancel. For real, man?
Oh my God, that's awesome. So I'm saying that to say that the city of San Antonio is so backed up with their permits and historical district movements that you can buy a duplex, triplex, even a quadplex in Southtown or in the King William districts, where it's just outside of the immediate district, but it's going to be to where it's double the improvement. So it's going to appraise more because the city's finally trying to catch up. But if you get in early in those duplexes, triplexes, in those high traffic shopping districts, you're going to get a cheaper house and it's not going to appraise higher. So you get to negotiate the price down because it's not officially historic in those areas. So I would recommend Southtown and King William areas are definitely the good areas to invest.
Good call.
Sweet.
Now yours are you talking about buying per side, or are you talking about buying the duplex as a whole?
No, duplex as a whole. Yeah.
Okay.
If that's an investment question, yeah, I would do it as a whole.
When I noticed in the numbers though for Austin duplexes is that if you're buying 2 units like at one time and you're going to live in one and then rent the other one, the duplex definitely makes more sense. However, with the duplexes, what I've noticed is that the purchase price for the duplex per unit and then the rental rate for what you're getting is so it's like a $500,000 home, but now you're dividing the rent by 2, and now you have to fill 2 sides with 2 different tenants.
And you're getting $2,800 a month.
Yeah, so you might be getting, instead of getting $2,800 a month on a $500,000 house, a $500,000 duplex, you're still going to get $2,800 because each side's only going to rent for $1,400. So really, that strategy only makes sense if you're going to live in one and rent the other one out.
House hack, right?
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd say don't restrict yourself to duplexes.
Now, this may sound controversial, but it seems like Austin is becoming a California where it really doesn't make too much sense to invest anymore.
Okay, folks. Sorry, we're gonna have to remove Trey from.
Trey had checked.
Do the numbers even work over there anymore?
I've actually done a full video saying don't invest in Austin, and people get mad at me saying that I do all these videos just to sell homes. I've told people not to buy in Austin. So there's specific spots that are great still to buy in. Well, I take that back.
It depends on your goals, right?
Yeah, it depends on your goals. I think the biggest issue investors are going to have investing in Austin, and that's why I want to focus on the I-35 corridor, is that the biggest problem you're going to have is the property taxes. And I'm doing a video next week on property taxes rising again in Austin. So if you're an investor and you're making let's say $200 a month, well, next year those taxes are going to go up and you've lost that $200. So you're now underwater, depending on what your investment strategy is. So, all right, let's talk about the I-35 corridor. So somebody asked about Kyle. So if you think about our MLSs and how they stack up, they both kind of end right about really kind of San Marcos, New Braunfels, right? And so there's some crossover there, but I brought in some information, but tell us on your end from New Braunfels down, right? Tell us what you're seeing on the I-35 corridor. Is it good to be investing? Which areas should you be investing in that I-35 corridor, and what developments are you seeing?
So I would say I-35 corridor from New Braunfels down to San Antonio, it's divided between a west and an east, right? If you look, it's kind of 45-degree angle, 35, but it really is. You can tell the difference between west and east. What I would do, if you're listening to this, you need to invest on the west side of 35 corridor, which basically it goes the outer banks of Canyon Lake and New Braunfels, because what's happening is ranch owners are selling their ranches, their 12, 15, 100-acre ranches to developers. And developers are going to these town boards and they're fighting for the divisions of these houses. So once they're fighting for it, there's a new community. Boom, they put the model home, and you need to get in early. So in a nutshell, the west side of the 35 corridor is really you need to look at. The east, to me, it really hasn't seen too much development. It's like little pockets, but it's just the amenities are not really there.
So you're saying you're saying like San Marcos, New Braunfels, all the way down Selma, which you're Selma, right?
Yep.
So you're saying to buy on this side and not on this side.
Correct. I had a few clients that bought Airbnbs in Canyon Lake, and they're pretty much, even in stormy weathers, off season, are doing really well. And it hasn't even the summer passed, so it's still getting booked up. So to me, the north part of the lake is where it's happening. It's like really booming there. It's a good area for short-term rentals. And for neighborhoods, it's really from the San Marcos area all the way down to 1604.
Okay. So this, like, what do they call this North Loop area right here? What is this called? 1604.
It's the northeast side of
Yeah.
1604. Yeah.
So I just sold one up over here up in Dominion, which was really cool. But the problem I always have with San Antonio is once you get past New Braunfels, if you can make it that far, man, this 1604 is brutal. It's worse than I-35.
Yeah, it is. And there's an article here. And can I share my screen? I guess I can, right?
Yeah. Right there. It's just share screen. And then I'll let you click which one you want.
Okay.
Technology.
Entire screen. Why not? I'll spill the beans.
No,
I'll have you in there and all the echo.
Yeah, do window.
Oh, okay.
Go share screen window.
Share. Whoops.
So you
Stand
go
by.
Share screen.
Window. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
Let me pick it right here. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas.
I don't see it
That's
yet.
not it.
He still has to give you permission.
Window.
Yeah, but I don't see it on mine.
You know how I know I'm from the Midwest? Because we say now I'm cooking with Crisco.
Clear your browser history.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Let me try
What's
to
this?
figure
What's
this out.
that? What does that say? Something hub? I can't read that.
Yeah. It's an investment hub.
Investment hub. Okay.
Yes.
Trade never could be president. He goes off script too much. Yep. So true.
There we go. Okay. Share.
There we go.
Now we're good. Okay.
Finally. All right.
So this is just I guess some kind of highwayman, but it's from the Department of Transportation. This is the corridor that they're building, and it's like a $5 billion project. And it's right here. It says 6 lanes from FM 82 Psalms Road, 8 lanes in New Braunfels, 6 lanes from 306 to 45. So 45 basically cuts from New Braunfels and it goes and cuts the hill country all the way to Bernie. So it's a huge area, and that's a huge expansion. I think that's going to finish in 2025 or something, or maybe more than that. So with that expansion already in progress, I mean, you have better traffic roadways. You're going to have more commercial developments.
So
Right.
so let's say it says 6 lanes. Are they referring to each side? It's probably no.
Yeah, so it's going to be an overpass and an underpass. So it's some lanes are going to go up, just like the Austin downtown area. They're there.
Yeah.
So
You said FM 306, right?
yes.
That's awesome because they just announced a 155-acre riverfront property in New Braunfels on FM 306.
Oh yeah, I have that. Ooh. That was in. You gotta be careful because some of this stuff I'm putting in future videos. But yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Where was that? Yeah. It was like what, $1 billion project or something like that.
242 home sites on 155 acres.
Do you have the article up?
I do.
155. That's a third the size of the domain.
It doesn't really say much besides that. It just says expect homes start as high as 750.
750. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that too, if you look, I'll share my screen again here. I got, if you're looking, so New Braunfels is that kind of middle point really between Austin and San Antonio. So there's a ton of development going on. They're going to put that river property in. What about like south of New Braunfels? What does that look like as far as future developments? What do you see prices and homes doing there?
So the biggest suburb south of New Braunfels is going to be Schertz. Schertz, Texas is starting to be a corridor with Garden Ridge, New Braunfels. And like I said, most of the development is the west end of 35. If you go east, you have an amenities. You have Lake McQueeney, which used to be just this little no-name kind of, only the neighbors knew that there was a huge lake there, but it's starting to develop a lot of the amenities that on the Lake McQueeney side. And you still have the Guadalupe River, you have the Comal River, you have Green, Texas, which is a huge tourist area, and you have the other lake, which is Canyon Lake. So you have really 2 lakes between these developments, and there's a lot of ranch owners that are leaving. All these towns are basically giving incentives and allowing the subdividing of all these 0.12 acre lots. everywhere to go in.
This Greenfield Homes. This is where I bought an investment property. Look how close that is to actual green.
Yeah.
It's literally, you could walk there. How cool is that? So I'm excited now that they announced that development on the river. That's pretty exciting too. So we should just do a whole show about New Braunfels now.
Yeah. You know, and New Braunfels, sorry to interrupt you. The New Braunfels, if you look at traditionally, like even 30 years ago, it was really like an attraction town. It was never really meant to house neighborhoods and families, because you look at house developments in the 1970s and 80s, it's all right there in that Comal Tube, you know, downtown Common Street, you have 46. So that town was never meant to do that. And it's funny because I went to a restaurant there 2 nights ago, and there's kids everywhere, there's families everywhere. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is a great time to get into New Braunfels, because those families, they're going to nestle roots, you know, and there are just more communities and more communities.
Yeah. If I didn't do so much business in Austin, I moved to New Braunfels. I saw a $1.4 million place. It was like 2 acres, hill country views of the pool. I'm like, down. I was so ready for that, but yeah, we're too much in Austin.
You can go if you want to, Jerome.
Okay. You take over my business?
I'll be happy to do that for you.
Oh, cool, man. I appreciate you.
I'll carry the night name.
Yeah, the night. You do carry the night name. You know, one thing I looked at too is, and I think, you know, for the guys on this channel, our guys on this channel, if you look in the Statesman, so one thing we had the mayor of Kyle on. So one thing we talked about is that there is no real major east side developments. Well, because, you know, they were doing a lot of that west side stuff. Well, that looks like they are putting a 318 acre mixed use residential, they met with city council. So hopefully, Mitchell, if you're listening to this, you guys approve this, because this would be pretty sweet. So they're bringing an elementary school, commercial use plaza, parks. Mitchell love parks, right? So there's tons of parks there. We talked about parks. He got mad at me for not being as excited about parks as he was. And then if you look at also what's going on in the I-35 corridor, they just announced a manufacturing facility that's going to be open doing plastics for Tesla. So they're bringing in another 200 full-time jobs in there. And then there was one more. Oh, no, there was one more in Buda. Something else was going on in Buda. So the I-35 corridor is just this massive corridor where huge developments are going. I don't know of any in San Marcos.
I would say Buda, San Marcos, New Braunfels is also healthcare real estate. So hospitals, clinics. I mean, with COVID just blowing up, that's on top of the other developments you just mentioned.
That's huge, because obviously cost of living is a little less, but also the fact that you've got another college right there. So they're competing colleges. You get traffic from both that can move that direction. Makes a lot of sense.
For sure.
Kevin, how's it going over there?
Good. I'm doing lots of research here, actually. So I was thinking about that with because if you go from like South Austin or Buda all the way down to San Antonio, pretty much everything developed like west of 35, right? I mean, that's true of Kyle and Buda for sure. But then I was thinking, okay, so the Balcones fault line actually runs through the center of Austin, and that actually splits at 35. So most of the development is done on the fault line side because there's more terrain. And once you get across the fault line, it goes into flat lands, which is obviously, unless you're investing, which most people weren't when the time these were being developed, that's why it wasn't as desirable land, because it was pretty much just flat, either farmland or ranch land, or in low-lying areas that floods pretty easily. So I'm interested to see how that, fleshes itself out over time. I think there's going to be a few more challenges to build on the east side.
Yeah, and I'm looking here at Seguin. I don't know if you guys want to pull up a map. You're way smarter than me. But if you look at the east side of 35, the corridor, it's Seguin, and then it's McQueenie, but then you have just no commercial developments, nothing in Lavernia. You have Stockdale, which is all really ranch owners. So I don't see a lot of. There's now Lulling. and Lockhart. I mean, I guess, but it's a little further closer to you guys.
Right. Well, that's the guy that was on last a week ago talking about the big development up north in Gerald, which if anybody's watching this, I had to take that video down. I'm not going to say why. It had nothing to do with it being wrong. How about that? Lockhart, he was heavily into Lockhart. My only problem with Lockhart is it is kind of like it's out there. You have to, if you're traveling down 35, you have to be wanting to go that direction, right? Martindale, same thing. But if you look at Seguin's blowing up. I mean, everybody I talked to is like, oh, I've got a house in Seguin. I bought an acre and a half in Seguin. Like, all right, sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's less organized development and more of just single purchases. So like, there's really no model homes or anything. It's people selling and renovating houses or selling off pieces of their land to build a house or two.
You know what it is to me? It's military families that want to have water properties. Do you think that tracks? When you're looking at from San Antonio straight over to Houston, it's an easy drive, right on 10. And so Seguin is just outside of San Antonio, still affordable compared to Austin, for example. And you can head straight over to Houston, Galveston, any of those.
Remember, Seguin has Caterpillar plant too.
That's.
Oh yes,
Angela. I was going that way.
Oh yeah, thanks, Angela.
Yeah, it is.
Censorship strikes again. No, potential lawsuits for people involved. Strikes. Sorry. That was pretty funny. We the guys and I had to have a heart-to-heart whether to take that video down. I had to consult with a lawyer. Lawyer said I was good. Like, hey, even if they did try to sue you, you're good. You're good. Nope, no harm, no foul. The problem is if they try to sue you, then you still have to fight lawsuits. Like you're not going to lose, but
you still have to fight them.
Yeah. So it just made more sense to pull it down. Anyway, so.
I should get Mickey ears.
Don't talk about it. Stop. You're gonna get us removed on YouTube. You get strikes.
Mickey Mantle. Mickey
Mantle ears. So what about traffic? I mean, you just talked about the I-35. I mean, if you drive down I-35 right now, that stretch, holy crap, there's so much construction. But
yes, but it's that $5 billion project. It's going to take 5 years to develop. But it's going to be overpasses, underpasses. And honestly, in 5 years, it's going to outgrow itself. So there's always going to be traffic.
The problem with 5-year projections is that you have 3 years of worse traffic to catch up to that 5 years. And like you said, by the time that's done, we're going to be too big for it anyway.
I don't know what HJ is talking about. I have no idea. Thank you. Highway 71 is expanding from Bastrop to Dripping Springs. There's somebody we're missing on this channel tonight. See him. Yeah. Bastrop. I-71. Yeah. So the Y is expanding. So I think it'd be helpful to get better traffic in and out of that Dripping Springs area, Southwest Austin. So I'd love to see that. I mean, Ian, Kevin, and I both know Dripping Springs is a place to be. So, right?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, we already talked to. They're making progress on that expansion over here west.
My friend that I talk about often is doing the removal, the land removal for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
good for them.
So, do you know this off the top of your head, Trey? What do the price points look like in the I-35 corridor?
Oh, I do know because I have people looking there all the time. So they start at the lowest 250, believe it or not. They're still in the 250s. Now, if you look at the shallow east of 35 in New Braunfels, those are the 250, 275, the 300s. You can still find a house. So yeah, if you zoom into New Braunfels, just
looks Queenie area.
No. I mean, super shallow east, like where it said North Clip. Yep, the county line, basically right there. Yeah, that whole area is 250, 275. Just south of it, 250, 275. And then as you go further up, then it climbs to 300, 350, and so on. Once you get to San Marcos,
I looked at some rental properties in San Marcos, and they were around. I mean, you could find some decent stuff with decent tax rates because, as everybody knows in this channel, I talk about tax rates a lot. But it was, you could get something around 350 to 400 that was like 2,000 square feet, and the rents were kind of there. So I went to go jump on one, try to show my wife. I'm like, look, we got to get this one. She's like, no, you know those days your wife just doesn't want to listen to you. And then I showed it to her later, and she's like, oh, this would have been a good one.
In Comal County, tax rates are still 1.8, 1.9 in Comal County in New Braunfels.
I pulled one up for 170,000, 2.2 tax rate, 2.0 tax rate, no HOA.
Yep, they still exist. I mean, they're not going to be for a while, but they're still there.
That's awesome. So, all right, so here's the deal. A lot of people are looking in the I-35 corridor as well because prices are lower. New Braunfels, you can get stuff low fours, right? You can get stuff as you get closer to Austin. I mean, the median price in Austin or the MSA is 480. So as long as you're getting under 480, you're getting a better deal than Austin. You're just going to have to drive, which we've talked about. They're developing the I-34 corridor or the I-35. What if you were your money right now, if you were going to buy in an area, any of you on the I-35 corridor, if you were going to just invest right now, whether it's be land, I want to know why, if it's land, if you want to buy just a single family home, duplex, where are you buying it and why? We'll start with the Mickey Ears guy.
This was restricted to the corridor?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he doesn't have to be the corridor, but if you were looking at the corridor, where would you invest right now? Because that's always a question people ask.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, it depends on your goals and budget, but for me, I think I'd like to shoot for, tech working class. Folks that are probably either a single's making 130 to 180 or the couple's making, $200,000 together. So I'd probably be investing in the 500 to 700 range in Kyle right now. I think Kyle is going to end up being, if you look at every auto manufacturing city, there's always like another city close by that's like all the subs are there, the suppliers are there. And I think Kyle will probably end up being, because it's so easy to get from Kyle to the Tesla factory. I think Kyle is going to end up being the hub for suppliers for Tesla.
For sure. I mean, they already are.
Well, so wouldn't they want to be between, what is it, Brownsville and Starbase and Austin, right? Like that corridor.
Where's that?
Not necessarily, because I think you're going to have a lot fewer volume suppliers for Starbase than you would for Tesla. And if you look at the access to the facility, they can hit 130 at Buda and hit it almost straight to the facility. So I think that's faster route. Plus you have I-35. Well, what do I know?
Right. I was going to say, I don't know who's borrowing from what, if like at some point Tesla is going to be large enough where they're selling things to SpaceX, right? Like if that's going to be because that's going to happen at some point. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious how that would work.
Yeah.
Now, if I don't know what's going on.
Nobody ever knows what's going on. Our life is like one big inside joke that we videotape.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of inside jokes. But Mama, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while.
The win.
Yeah, for the
Thanks,
win.
Big Mama.
So is that what you said, Trey? Sorry, I just had an offer coming on a property. I was reading that. Sorry.
Focus.
Sorry.
So you're saying, Kevin, you're saying that Kyle is going to be kind of the thoroughfare, but what kind of investments is like the 250 investment or the 350 investment?
5 to 7.
5 to 7. Okay.
Yeah, because Kyle, I think the mayor even said this. They were positioning themselves as a executive class city, whereas used to be, it was like Plum Creek, you buy for 165 to 200. They don't want to continue to build that. He was clear that they didn't want to do that anymore. And honestly, like I've said for a while that we're at an interesting societal inflection point with technology and trends. And I see a lot more, there's a ton of approved communities right now that people are now building for that. Instead of being able to buy a home 175, 200, the builders are now just building massive communities with the intent to rent them out. So I don't know that you're even going to be able to buy in that range long term. Plus, I like the idea that I can almost always fill with a good tenant in a $500,000 to $700,000 house. Almost always, good credit, good income.
What do you? So throw that question back to you, Trey. What do you think? Where would be a place that you would invest? What would you be buying? Land, duplex, and where?
So I would say the west side of 35. So let me share this little map. Share screen, window.
Aaron, we said corridor. That's what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here, it's funny to me, Buda and anything north of it, obviously, seems to be like the executives area, right? And then Kyle, to me, I mean, just looking from the outside, I'm a little more south of my market, but it seems like more of, I mean, where are the working folks going to go?
Yeah, I think they're going to be moved into rentals.
Just the rentals, like either going out west or out east.
Or what kind of stuff?
I added my screen just to give you an idea. So this is kind of San Marcos area, but this is this is what you're getting: 1,200 square feet for $300K. 284, only 1,400 square feet. East Kyle used to be cheap, but I mean now you're looking at 1,500 square feet, almost 400. 350. I mean, this area over here too is crazy. I told a client to keep his house, don't sell over here, keep it. And guess what? He would have been making a ton of money if he listened. But I mean, 1,400 square foot, 330. But if you're looking west side, just like you were talking about, Kyle, I mean, price is 700s, 800 in Kyle,
800,000
in Cypress Forest.
Yeah, so that area is beautiful. It is really, really nice. And the further south you go, even nicer it gets. Around San Marcos, New Braunfels, those are really, really pretty roads that are just developing like a lot.
You might see if I were to guess, maybe, I mean, we're talking 10 or 20 years from now. My guess would be you'd have to probably there probably would be developers that would develop like in Lockhart South, and then of course Gerald, Taylor, Granger even. And then develop smaller communities for people to buy. But I think that's going to be the only affordable option. I don't think that you're going to be able to buy anything 3 and 2 with a yard affordable 10 years from now, anywhere in that corridor, anywhere from San Antonio to probably Waco.
And look at all the developments on west end of 35. It's way more than the east, like by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the inventory's there, but so is the demand.
Well, maybe is that why what's his face was wanting to build in Lockhart so much? I mean, these prices are more affordable in Lockhart, but look how many are on the market.
Yeah.
9, 10.
I love Lockhart. I was there like 2 weeks ago. Their downtown area is thriving and exciting. It's, there's plenty of land to be developed out there. They actually have really good road infrastructure over there. So I think that Lockhart is primed for a pump.
Yeah, but Trey didn't answer the question.
I'm trying to dance around it.
Don't dance.
So, to me, I would develop on the east end of New Braunfels. I feel like there's a lot. It's land that's not really known. There's not a lot of developments there. It would be an even better thoroughfare. It's closer to 35. So just the east side of New Braunfels. There's just a lot of old buildings there. We can develop. You can put duplexes, triplexes. And there's also less restrictions because it's not in the city of New Braunfels. Some of it is county, which will make the permitting easier. That's what I would do.
So let me ask you this question too, then. It's a serious question. your next investment that you're going to buy, right? Let's say it's a single family home. Are you buying in the I-35 corridor or are you buying in San Antonio?
So in real time, I'm actually buying in San Antonio. I just got under contract a house by the Pearl District, which is, the really nice dining area.
Was it that condo we were at?
Yep. So I got the sales price at 405. The appraisal literally came in 2 hours ago at 435.
Nice.
And just in 4 months, it went up. Once the development is closed and the complex is, gated or whatever, it's going to go up. That being in the heart of downtown, that tax district is 2.5, which is not bad to be in the heart of downtown. It may go up, but there in the city of San Antonio inside has a downtown district that's about 2.5, 2.7. Outside of it, in the city limits, is 2.2. And then you can be in San Antonio, but in the county areas, and that's like 1.9 or 2.0.
Yeah, I ran the numbers on that one you showed me. Talk about when your wife isn't on board with you when you're ready to buy stuff, huh? All right. Ian, you just got an investment property. Where'd you get an investment property at?
Well, I want to talk about the corridor.
All right, let's talk about the corridor.
I shared one.
Oh, there you go.
So if I had it to buy today and I had to stick with the corridor, I really like the idea. So I was actually forget where his name was, but he had asked for something under 2 or 380 or something like that along in San Marcos. So these are all very low price points, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-bed, 2-bath. Obviously, this isn't I'm going to call it a high-end luxury property, but you have a very low tax rate. You have a high rent price point, and you'll never have a delay in renting. You'll never have vacancy periods, or rarely have vacancy periods, because obviously you've got the college here, but you also have all the tubing here, and you also have no HOA, so you can put more. You can put a tiny home there, you can put a camper there. You can just maximize your profitability, and easy access to an airport, and easy access to Canyon Lake. Otherwise, I would say Canyon Lake because I want to be able to. I want to have some spots to vacation.
Yeah, Canyon Lake's pretty sweet. I sold one on Ensenada there. It really didn't have lake views, but we went out on the lake, kind of just trying to shoot some promo video for it. Man, what a beautiful lake.
Well, I like your strategy, Jeremy, because you have spots north and south, right? I love that because then you're not stuck. And if ever you wanted to have some kind of STR or some short-term rental place, you can do that. So like yours in Padre, Corpus.
Yep. South Padre. Yeah.
Padre. Yeah. Like that's excellent. Because if you wanted to use it, you can just block it out and it's great. Obviously, it's cash flowing otherwise. It's great.
What's funny is I was actually just told today that you can buy a boat and it can be the full deduction today. I was just told that. I am not a boat person or want a boat by any means, but I called my boat captain in South Padre and go, hey, if I buy a boat as a deduction, can you rent it out for me? Because I have no interest. I have zero interest in owning a boat.
They have sites for that. They have sites for swimming pools, swim leagues.
Sites for everything, yeah.
It's great. They have the camping, the outdoorsy. You can seriously do anything. Somebody's going to pay for the short term.
So in Canyon Lake, there's there's like 15 boat ramps around Canyon Lake that are public. There's some neighborhoods in Canyon Lake that are private boat launches. So what's nice is there's a lot of access points to drop off these boats. And in Canyon Lake, there's a couple of public entrances, but there's also a private military entrance. I don't know if you guys knew this, but there's a side of Canyon Lake that's literally only for service members that are active duty. They can't even be retired. Like if you serve 4 years and that's it, you don't have access. It's active duty members that are only allowed on this side, and they have benches and picnics and different areas that are not open to the public. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty like underrated.
I think it's rated where it needs to be. Don't rate it. Don't say it's underrated because then everybody shows up to it. It's rated right where it needs to be.
It is.
Just enough, not too much. Speaking of other lakes, I don't know, had nothing there. Dinosaur D says, I think Trey is on the money. Nope, that's wrong. That can't be.
No,
Put it back up.
San Antonio sounds good. If you look at the profile of money coming in from California, they want things to do and get accessibility. I mean, I would say that's the reason why I like having people like Trey on. We've had people from San Antonio, Houston. People, when they call me, they go, I want to move to Texas. I'm like, great. That's a big freaking state. Like, where in Texas? Oh, I don't know. Where can I find a house for $350K? I'm like, San Antonio, Corpus Christi. What are you doing? So anyway, sorry, I cut you off.
No, in investor market, San Antonio to me has a lot of stable, your everyday blue collar jobs. It probably has more blue collar jobs. Well, I guess it's on par with Houston, but there's not too much of the very, very techie kind of world, and there's not too much of, it's a very good middle ground. So to me, San Antonio and the areas around it is a very safe investment just because it's so diverse in its job markets, and just the entry level positions that are here can pretty much apply to anybody.
Yeah, and it's more affordable. I mean, what's the median price right now in San Antonio?
$315.
What's the median income?
Good question.
Right, because that's it should correlate.
I think it's up to like 90, 95.
Family.
That's great because for a family, because I think Austin, I looked at the Chamber of Commerce, was 99. So yeah, I mean that's awesome.
Okay, so it's probably less than that.
Make $100,000 and the median price is $315 for a home.
Yeah.
Make $100,000 and the median price is $540 or whatever we are at now for median in Austin. I mean, that's a huge difference.
Well, and we also have to look at what the demographics are, because I don't know if, let's say, Austin has a larger population of, let's say, dual incomes. I don't know. My wife was her whole family was military, so that was a lifestyle, and a lot of them were single income. So it really depends.
What's that acronym that you use for people like you?
DINKS, man. You're
Dual income, no kids.
Fill me in. What's a dink?
Dual income, no kids.
Oh yeah, dinks. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good one.
It is.
So going back to the I-35 corridor, if you look, so San Antonio is 315, I-35 corridor, I don't even know what the median. I think our good friend, it's in San Antonio, Rad, I think he said the last time I saw him, it was right around 300 was the median for that area. San Marcos, I was showing on the map. San Marcos isn't that cheap anymore either. So, people are looking to where's affordable, and it's definitely not Austin. So that's why, the top 5 suburbs I talked about in my last video were 420, median prices were 4. So it's, I can't tell you what it was. You got to watch the video, go to my YouTube channel, watch it. But the lowest was 420. The highest was right around 500. And those are where people are moving to. Austin's 540 median. I mean, but come on, can you really buy a house for 540 in Austin? I mean, you can.
You can buy a condo pretty easily.
I can't believe
642 square feet, 1-1. It's great.
That's insane.
$350 a month HOA. It's the condo association.
Aaron says that he lived in San Diego. I lived in San Diego. Lived in San Antonio while I was in the Army, and I feel like San Antonio is underrated.
Good.
Aaron doesn't leave his house.
Smart person.
He doesn't leave his house. He doesn't care about what's going on around him. That's a very different lifestyle. We talked about that last week.
How do you know Aaron so well, Ian?
I'm just saying. He mentioned it last week. He's like, lifestyle, that's overrated. That's what he said.
Man, totally blowing up his spot.
And San Antonio, the corridor, and Austin are 3 different MLSs. You could even throw a 4th in there. So it's hard to measure the exact median house price because depending, some agents are on fire. Somebody's on fire. Some agents put one house in one MLS and forget to put it on the other. Some people double put it on two MLSs, so it's hard to measure. I have found clients' houses in the 35 corridor very comfortable in the 350s, 400, a little challenging in anything below 300.
Yeah. That's the same thing with
Financially
Austin.
independent.
It's the same thing with Austin. Where do you find something under 300, Kevin?
A condo.
Where do you find a 1,500 square foot under 300?
There's a few older ones in Cedar Park still. These are older in smaller places though, but even then they're listed. The ones that I'd seen lately that were listed in Hutto, right? The ones I'd seen listed in Hutto at their price were still getting pushed up quite a bit into almost 3, but you can still get one for under 3 in Hutto for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. Financially independent, retire early.
Hey, let me tell you, retiring early is not all that it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's retiring. It just means he doesn't have to work for money, right?
So
I retired at the age of something, 31 or whatever, and it was pretty short-lived because it gets pretty fast.
Near Coda's good. I mean, it's headed out there towards Bastrop. Bastrop is blowing up. It was like number 15 on the list of cities people are moving to around the area.
So I put a client there, and it was interesting because we were looking at it, and she was like, "Oh, you can see the Coda needle, right? From her backyard. Great for long-term growth, right? That area is exploding, but on the weekends, that's all you hear."
Is that a concert? What is that sound you're making?
What? Is that a race car? Oh, I'm sorry.
Alien.
You drive a
Alien
Tesla. You have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to check that at the door, man.
I have friends that have land over there, and yeah, you can hear a good ways away. Like what's the golf course over there? That cheap golf course, Mobile? Is that the one?
No. Oh, I thought you were talking about Stanley, not Kubrick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, there's a golf course over there, and if you're on the tee box, all of a sudden as soon as you swing here, you either hear gunfire because the police academy is over there, or you hear Coda. Yeah.
Yep.
What's the sound? How does it go? I didn't get
And God forbid you be distracted when you're golfing.
I know.
Yeah.
It's such a big deal.
Okay, guys, between the four of us, let's not hit.
Bastrop's on.
Hold on. Shh.
Oh,
Just between the four of us. Don't tell anybody. Let's not answer or put up any of Master Jedi's comments because he showed up so late.
don't even call him that. Call him Bastrop. He's got to have an alias.
He's getting shunned.
Master Jedi.
Like the Amish community does. He's getting shunned.
Jeremy, I'm surprised you didn't like my post.
I didn't like your post.
Yeah, the dink one.
Oh yeah. I mean, I thought we had already gone through that.
Not appropriate. Okay.
No, it's fine. I mean, all right. Mobile home Kevin.
That is.
Was that the one? All right. So riddle me this, Mr. Trey Serrano, my favorite guy south of the Austin border. Let me ask you this. The market in San Antonio, you've been in real estate how many years?
Since 2016.
2016. You've only seen it been on fire. You haven't seen a market crash in San Antonio. There's lots of channels out there saying the bubbles are popping. They're talking about Austin, primarily Austin, not necessarily San Antonio. What do you think overall? And don't sell us that you're a real estate agent, so you make money off of this. What do you see happening in the San Antonio market? Be real with the people.
Absolutely. There is no bubble. I don't think
in San Antonio.
Right, in San Antonio. Going back to what I said about the diversity in markets, the only actually crash that I could see is in the luxury market. There's a lot more inventory in the luxury end, and then there is anything between 0 to 700. There's not a lot. So it's very stable. Let's say house prices did drop. Yes, let's say house prices did drop in San Antonio. I just think that the people that were sitting back and waiting to move or waiting to pull the trigger on properties in San Antonio, I think that's when they would start moving. So I think there's like a waiting. There's people waiting to get into this market, that are just kind of watching and seeing what's happening. And I think if price drops or there's a crash or something, San Antonio's safe. I really believe that. I've looked at all kind of markets, and I talked to agents all over Texas mainly, and I just don't see where the families that want to live here in this price range, who want to work and get paid this much, this is one of the best markets for that. And there's so much of it in so many developments. We're a city of 2 million people, and the tourism is decent. It's not going anywhere.
It's a good one. So in the market now, do you still see homes going over list price and lots of competition?
They do, but it's not as crazy as what Ian and Jeremy and Kevin tell me in Austin. It's not. So $300,000 house, it'll go maybe 330, 340, and that's like max with multiple offers. Something in 500s could go for 520, 700 can go for 770, but that's it. That's as crazy as it gets.
Yep. Yeah. This Ian guy, man, he knows what he's talking about. Aaron says,
handsome dude.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing too, is here's the thing about San Antonio. San Antonio has to become the same price of Austin to start seeing a turn, in my opinion. You have a long way to go from 315 to just our MSA, which is 480, right? That's a long way to go. And the I-34 corridor is catching up too, but you have a long way to go before you say, you know what, it's not worth it to move these areas. And what is the main reason people are moving to San Antonio, Trey?
The main reason is stability. It's the affordability and stability. You can buy a house, $300,000, no problem, live in a great neighborhood, with decent schools. Now, we're talking about the 35 corridor, right? So Austin has extremely blown up in house prices. San Antonio is let's call it the opposite, where it's not blown up, but it's still very competitive and stable. What about the 35 corridor? It's kind of like we're learning the lesson of Austin. We're still watching what's going down here in San Antonio. So if you look at bird's eye view, now it's our turn to watch these communities, kind of change with what's going on between both cities. Because everybody I talk to here, they either lived in Austin at one time, or they say, I want to live in Austin, but something. Now, what do you think? I'm asking you guys this. What was the driving force in having these house prices in regular communities that, have regular school districts, kind of median house price neighborhoods? What caused them to jump up so much? This way I cannot do that here in this market.
It's absolutely the influx of high income earners and jobs that continue to bring people in that regard. I think that's a big driving factor. Not the only one, of course, but that's a big one. And then obviously there's the flexibility for corporations and the tax incentives as a result.
Yeah.
So too many high income earners.
It doesn't even necessarily have to be. Yeah, they are high income, but if you're looking to purchase a home and you want it to be in Austin anyway, especially if inventory is really restricted, then if you have a $500,000 budget and you've been living in the Bay Area, driving an hour each way to work, now you're looking at driving 20 minutes each way to work, but you can live in Hutto and still spend $500,000 or $600,000. I think that was the big thing, is people were like, hey, I don't have to live in Austin. I actually think it's cool, because years before, I would say that if we did have a market correction, that it would start in the suburbs, right? And then it would slowly disintegrate towards the city center. I don't think that would happen again. I actually think there's enough independent nodes of activity across the area that I don't think that if we did see a slowing, I think you're right. I think the slowing probably would be in the mid luxury market. And I think all the other communities are still going to be marginally thriving. And you might see a slight correction, but there's enough people that keep going.
Well said.
What's strange here is that luxury is now your typical 3-bed, 2-bath. Luxury, as far as price point goes in Austin, is now your 3-bed, 2-bath, like 1,500 square foot house. That's a luxury price point now.
Yeah, like in 78704, a standard 3,000 square foot house, decent size. I mean, a nice house that would have been $1.2 million like 3 years ago is 2.5 now.
Mm-hmm.
And that price point is thriving. Like 2 to 5 million, I would say, or 2 to 10 million probably, but definitely 2 to 5 million is not one I don't think that's generally affected at all in our market by pricing. I mean, I called an agent on a $5.5 million listing, and she was still getting. She had multiple showings this week on the house.
Yeah, I mean, this article right here I just pulled up, I mean, even says the same thing. During Growth Summit, experts dismissed strengths, weaknesses of San Antonio market. I mean, right here it says, due to the focus of innovation and ability to attract high-skilled workers. I mean, it's exactly what Ian just said. I mean, look, here's the deal. If somebody got after me on my comments today on my channel because I always compare to cities in California that aren't the Central Valley. Number one, I lived in the Central Valley and it sucks. Sorry if you lived in the Central Valley. The bad air quality, smells like cows everywhere, cow poop everywhere. It's hot. Then you have like 3 months where it's just overcast. Can't do it. But the Central Valley is almost the same price as living in Austin or saying actually it's cheaper in San Antonio. And so I've had a lot of people reach out to me from Central California and they go, well, the prices in Austin are too expensive. I'm like, well, have you seen the I-35 corridor? Have you seen San Antonio? And they're like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. It's cheaper than in Central California. So there are areas close to Austin that are cheaper than Central California. But the largest drive for a lot of people coming here is the fact that, and I showed the stats, the Bay Area is 1.3 median price. Just outside the Bay Area is 800,000. LA is like 700,000. San Diego was, I think, around 700,000. So you could still get homes and you're talking median price. So a lot of that trends north of those prices. So it's been the growth here has been, the jobs that are coming here. The low interest rates have fueled our prices to go crazy, right? And COVID, I hate to say it, but I can't tell you that June, July, August, September, how many people called me frantic to get out of the Bay Area, frantic to get out of LA. A client I met with today just moved here, sold his business, moved here, and we're looking at more properties today. And it's the same thing. Like, I got to get out of California. So, I think the excess of California is one major reason why our prices, but let's be honest, Austin's a pretty freaking cool place to live. San Antonio is a little sister to us. That's fine. But, they have the Alamo and they have the Spurs. The Spurs, right? The Spurs.
Yeah. That's a feeder from Austin, though.
We have better tacos.
I wonder if you like the next thing I would like to do is break down total GDP by industry between Austin and San Antonio and see how those compare. Because I think you'd see a more level GDP across different industries in San Antonio. So you're going to have continual attraction of a good income earner. Of course, tech heavy in Austin. A lot of people here, these guys are getting out of school, getting 130 grand, right?
The curious thing about Austin and being tech heavy, specifically tech heavy, I think Aaron said that, or Master Jedi said North Carolina or Raleigh is similar, right? Well, we saw that with Colorado for a while, where people were leaving Austin, moving there for one reason or another. We can speculate all we want, and kind of the same things happening. So if you can work anywhere, why come here? That's just a rhetorical question. We're all here, minus Trey, for whatever reason. But would we ever? I know I can't see myself relocating, at least not until I get old and I'm too hot all the time.
I mean, if you look at what people like in a lifestyle, it has everything. It has rivers. It has commercial. It has farm and ranch. It has any freaking thing that you can imagine to do is right here in Austin, San Antonio. I mean, I grew up in New York City, and I lived in New York until I was 26, and I moved to Texas 11 years ago.
And 9-10 months out of the year. So whatever your flavor is, you can do that. So really, it's kind of the ultimate freedom in that regard.
Except snow. Well, last year we had snow.
Well, you can just drive somewhere. You can drive somewhere else in Texas and see snow.
Master Jedi, this is a funny one. I talked to people moving today, a moving company. Dude was like, "Damn, it's so busy. This is supposed to be the slow period. Why the hell is everyone moving to leaving California?" Wow, that's it.
Exact quote.
We can answer that question all day long. But one thing I want to do before we get too much further, Trey Serrano does have a YouTube channel talking about San Antonio. So if you are curious about San Antonio, go over there, subscribe, leave all the dirty comments you want. Every dirty comment is one comment more to him getting another subscriber. So help Trey out. This is what is it called? San
Antonio suburbs.
No, this is a Make-A-Wish right here. So Trey is our Make-A-Wish. It's his channel. It's at 74. I'm going to keep an eye. It better be at like 120 by the end of this stream. So
I hope so.
Master Jedi, I want you to go on there and harass the crap out of him, okay?
Please.
There's a video, Master Jedi, I think you'll like. Is it this St. Hedwig property for sale? That one. Oh, my God. Oh my God, this is the funniest video I've ever seen on the internet, and it's so under.
Say that was filmed the east of the 35 corridor in St. Hedwig. This is why people don't want to do developments the east of the 35 corridor because of me.
Here we have a 2006 Chevy Silverado. It's a quarter ton with an extended bed. And it's a single cab because only them big city folks use those dualies. Did I say that right? So inside the Chevy Silverado,
my favorite line right here,
we have your transmission right here, and right here we have the iPod docking station. Not an iPhone.
This is why people don't want to move to east of 35. Okay.
This center console all comes included in this purchase. You have concealed carry. And you have a breakfast taco. It also comes as a file cabinet, so it's multi-purpose in the center console.
That's funny, bro.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
Man.
No property even being shown. It's so great.
He gets the property like 3 minutes into.
That's so funny, bro.
I like.
Breakfast
Oh yeah.
tacos and can still carry, man. Oh, that's why people move to Texas.
I said, oh, by the way,
And
the ranch is for sale
You
too.
don't have 6 acres and not have, some of those benefits, right?
Check
Yeah.
flow up.
Oh
man.
funny. Oh man.
Appreciate the shout out. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome, my guy. Again, we're not going anywhere right now, but before I get too far down the rabbit hole here and we start talking about all the fun conspiracy theories and all the fun stuff we get into, I just wanted to make sure to give you a shout out. All right, where are we going next, Kevin?
What do you mean?
I don't
As
know
far
where
as
we
topics?
go next. Yeah, let's go, man.
I don't. Let me look at my list here. I'm sorry. I just got lost in looking at. I was looking at the government website for GDP by industry, and I was trying to find by industry by regional, by region, but they don't have that granularity of data.
Trey, tell us about Seguin. I went to Suns Island a few months ago. It's incredible.
Seguin is a sleeping giant. It's probably the best town east of 35 to invest in, to live in. You have Suns Island, which is like a cool resort. You can go year round. You have McQueenie Lake, which is like a fourth of the size of Canyon Lake, but it's a lake. You can go there.
It's also like not as far of a drive as Canyon Lake.
And it's stupid cheap. You can get a lakefront property for like 1.2, like total lakefront, boat launch, no HOA for 1.2.
With lower taxes. Somebody asked what the taxes were like along the corridor, and they're lower than Austin proper and any of the northern suburbs.
Yeah, it's 1.8, 1.9% of your appraised
until
value.
you get way out there, right? People are always asking, why are property taxes so high? Because you live where everybody wants to live. That's why.
Yeah.
What is the best breakfast taco in San Antonio Metro?
Ooh, I would say it's.
Don't say Torchy's.
What's Torchy's?
Oh God,
Just kidding.
That's a joke.
No, the best place or the best tasting taco? Like
whatever. You tell me. Sell me on it.
I would say
Atmosphere
it is
and flavor.
barbacoa taco is the best.
That's the
Barbacoa.
name of the place is Barbacoa?
No.
Oh,
God,
okay.
do you live in Texas?
No. I get Barbacoa all the time. That's why I want to be very specific because I might end up driving there tomorrow. I'm like, I need this taco.
Go to Tommy's. There's 3 locations in San Antonio.
Hold on. Pause. Barbacoa. You said that very officially, and then you said, but Tommy's. Like, that's the name of the place?
Yes, that's the name of the place. It's been around since like the 40s.
Wow.
Barbacoa, Big Red, with a little avocado. Boom.
Nice.
All right.
I see that they even have a T-shirt that says "Big Red and Barbacoa every day."
Every day.
Wow, man, I'm so hungry right now. That's why I'm talking about food. I need some taco in my life at this moment.
I know, but I can't eat. I'll get kicked off the stream.
Oh yeah,
You did, yeah. People were mad that I took him off the stream during that highly discussed video about a specific company potentially moving to Gerald, buying potentially, I don't know, what's it called?
There's a lot of potential here.
Allegedly buying land in Gerald. I took Ian off because Ian looked like a goat in a field just going after that salad. So, yeah.
who eats salad anyway?
It's really hungry, and
People
it was
from Austin eat
a hearty salad. It was barbacoa.
I'm just kidding. I got salad.
So we still have this comment on the screen. What else? Buc-ee's has a solid breakfast taco. You fool. Mm-hmm.
What's a Buc-ee's?
Okay, Nelly brings up a really good point. We should talk about that.
It's Nelly.
This is a good one.
You get the reference,
because if you've been to the Austin Zoo, you'll understand. Or the Austin Aquarium. Next one.
Mm-hmm.
Sketchy parts. Yeah, sketchy parts for sure.
That's where I used to be a cop in those sketchy parts.
There was
just so you could get the breakfast tacos.
Yeah, free breakfast tacos in uniform.
I've been in the back seat of this guy's truck driving through San Antonio. Let me tell you, this guy drives like he's still a cop. All right. Yeah, San Antonio is a real city with museums, major attractions, and pro sports. Austin is a college town with great jobs and water parks and an MLS soccer stadium and ACL Fest and South by Southwest.
And the only F1 in the United States.
Allegedly.
We have Fiesta.
And a international airport. San Antonio's international?
It is international. It's U.S. and Mexico, okay?
It's intercontinental.
Yeah, there you go.
And the reason I love Austin so much is because tip to tail, it's the most accessible big city I've ever been in.
It is very accessible.
I can drive southwest to northeast in less than an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible for a city this size.
Can you do that in San Antonio?
20 minutes, corner to corner.
Yeah. Along 1604?
Yeah. Well, it's
20
really
minutes on 1604.
With no traffic.
Yeah. No, it's
San Antonio ever drives 25 miles an hour on the freeway though. It's like depressing.
Yeah, we're still learning out here.
Yeah.
But okay, I want to expand on this topic a little bit because I don't go to San Antonio very often, right? And I understand that they have like SeaWorld and stuff like that, but is there really that much more big city stuff in San Antonio than there is here?
They have Six Flags. They have amusement parks. And big aquariums. That's true. But that's a staycation, like a weekend drive. And then you come back home where it's fun all the time.
Mm-hmm. So San Antonio has had the same attractions, the same Six Flags, SeaWorld, shopping strips, the Riverwalk crap. It had the same attractions for the past, I would say, 20 years. There's really no new developments in San Antonio. And I think that's probably a big culprit of why house prices haven't super jacked up. Yes, it's catching up with the market trends of the U.S. and, home incomes are going up, wages are going up, but it's really not spiking because inside the city limits, there's really not a lot of new developments. Now, the suburbs is where it's at. So, like, if you go a little bit west, which is like the Bernie, you have Kendall County, Kerr County, those are all being developed with the corridor between San Antonio and El Paso, which is where Bezos is building his freaking world launching thing. His space, which my ranch is I would think an hour from there. So that corridor is being built up. It's going to take way longer, but it's still something you should watch out for. And then you have the north suburbs, which connect to the hill country of Austin. And then you have the 35 corridor, which is the northeast, with what we've been talking about for the past hour. So inside the city limits, not too much going on. You have a lot of renovations and small things, but it's really the suburbs that you're going to watch out for.
I'm supposed to go to Blanco this weekend. I heard that's real pretty.
Blanco Tex. It's Blanco, not Blanco.
We'll see. That's wrong.
Legends Way. Brian, I have a listing coming up if you want one in Legends Way. I have clients that live in Legends Way. I would give it a thumbs up. There you go. Thumbs up.
I think like a good
Legends.
rule of thumb for pronouncing things here is default to the proper Spanish pronunciation. And if that's wrong, because you'll sound way more formal when you do it, then sound super country and try it out that way. And then that's usually the right way.
Right.
Blanco. Oh, no, that's wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just defaulting to my Spanish. It's Blanco.
See, okay.
But Austin doesn't have the basics. Literally everyone can come visit and end up in San Antonio. Yeah, I mean, that's right. I mean, we have all the protests and everything that happened downtown outside the Capitol. So we have that. We also have, hippies, right? Like, do we have hippies anymore?
That's a derogatory term now, I think.
Is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Is it?
I'm just going to throw this out there, not having really thought about it. So please tell me if I sound really stupid. But San Antonio's growth happened decades ago. And that's why you got the Spurs and SeaWorld and all these other things that at the time were really popular because we didn't have the internet. So when you're thinking about taking your family to go do things, like Chicago is a great example as well. Big aquariums, big attractions, magnificent miles. So when you're going, you need these big attractions. Trade meeting. But now we have accessible, quick, fun things to do, which is why I think Austin is a very popular place, because you don't have to commit a whole weekend to it. You can go to the small water park and get in and out. You can go to the Major League Soccer team instead of a Spurs game and get in and out. You can go to, not in and out, but you know what I mean? You can go to Dripping Springs or Fredericksburg for a day, have a fun time, and then come back. So maybe people are just happier doing like fun things, smaller fun things more often, and that's why Austin's more popular. I don't know.
Well, you have to think about the price points of those things, right? If you're ready to drop $100 to go to SeaWorld for just you and one other person, that's a lot different than what people are doing here, I think. Right?
It's way more than that, isn't it?
Right. Well, I mean, that's to just go for a day with just you and a partner. You can't bring kids for that.
Yeah.
Question is,
you hear that?
Is that your dog?
Yeah. No, that was thunder outside. I think my camper just got struck. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we don't have any of that thunder down here in South Austin.
Oh yeah, there's a storm coming through, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, that's probably why my internet sucks.
So I missed a question.
It was why were you muted? That was one, and then San Antonio suburbs for investment as a rental property. What would you go? I guess what's the price though? That's the question.
So if you're looking for duplexes, triplexes, any kind of, or even single family, I would do the Southtown. So there's an overabundance, in my opinion, of investment single family within the 410 corridor. So like around the medical center, UTSA, everybody, there's freaking rentals everywhere in that area. Around La Cantera, closer to Dominion, all those areas to me are overloaded with rentals. The really good ones, in my opinion, are Southtown and the Northeast side, which is the corridor, which is basically the end of the corridor entering into San Antonio. You can still find houses in 200 or so, and in decent areas. You have good amount of renters there, but they take care of the areas, and there's commercial developments everywhere that accommodate to renters and W-2 jobs. So I think those are the best areas. Now, also think about what's going on in the world is the borders, right? You have supposedly a huge influx of people coming in from the valleys. So they're coming in and they're going to need places to live. We're getting influx from all over, but the south end of San Antonio, like the super south side, is really a good place maybe for multifamily to house a lot of the influx of people. So something to think about.
That there was a lot of information unpacked there.
Yeah.
Well, the divorce, that's important, right? Because if you have someone relocating and now that you have 2 places that they need to occupy, and not small places either if they have children that they have to consider. Now you need 2 more homes for every person that gets divorced and relocates together.
Well, we're running into a thunderstorm thing here. My internet's dying. Let's just call it here. Trey, anything else you want to promote while you're on the channel besides your channel that now has 3 more subscribers?
Thank you, those 3. No, honestly, I just started my YouTube channel maybe 2 months ago or so, and very excited to share my information. Like I said, I was a cop before this. I am kind of a no-nonsense dude, and I wish somebody would have told me these things, when I was shopping for a house in San Antonio before I got my my real estate group. So, hope to see you there. Connect on Instagram. I share a freaking lot of good stories and investment opportunities. And Jeremy and Ian and Kevin are super rock stars for having me on. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Sorry we're cutting it out early. My internet's jacked up. So I think it's a storm. So we'll catch you on the next one. I know there's a lot of good questions about Bastrop. I'll drop in the comments below a link for that. But thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. And peace.
See you guys
later.